The NL Cy Young race is heating up right now. There are a lot of pitchers battling it out for that top spot, and it's really up for grabs. And with that in mind, today I'm going to be going over my top 5 NL Cy Young candidates. And before we get started, I'm going to be mentioning a couple of honorable mentions at the end because I feel like there's a couple of guys that didn't make the cut that deserve to be mentioned. So with that in mind, let's get right into this. Coming in at number 5, I have Corbin Burnes. Burnes started out the year on fire, and he really hasn't cooled down at all. So far, on 121 innings pitched, Burnes is 7-4 with a 2.23 earned run average, 172 punch-outs with a .93 whip. And he also has a 4.1 WAR to go along with it. So this guy is pitching completely lights out this season, and batters just look lost up there against him. And Burnes really had a big coming out season last year where he had a huge season, and he has just carried it over to this season. Right now, Burnes is leading the Brewers. They're first place in the National League Central, and he is a big reason why. And I know I have Burnes at number 5, but this race is really tight right now. And if Burnes does heat up and have a very hot stretch heading into the postseason, I would not be surprised to see him win the National League Cy Young. So all in all, huge seasons from Burnes. I got him at number 5. And coming in at number 4, I have Corbin Burnes' teammate, Brandon Woodruff. Woodruff, like Burnes, is just having a lights out season. In 140 innings pitched, Woodruff is 7-6 with a 2.18 earned run average. He has 163 punch-outs and a .9 whip. And to go along with that, he has a 4.8 WAR. Woodruff just has nasty stuff, and really on any given night, this guy could punch out 10 batters. He has a high 90s fastball that he uses to blow by hitters, and he also has a couple of very good off-speed pitches which he uses to his advantage. And this guy, just like Corbin Burnes, is a huge reason why Milwaukee is first place in the National League Central right now. And at this point in time, with the way Woodruff has played the past couple seasons, he has to be up there in the conversation for one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. So Woodruff, yet again, having a great season. I got him coming in at number 4. And at number 3, I have Kevin Gausman. Gausman was always a highly touted prospect coming up through the Baltimore Orioles system. He was the number 4 pick back in the 2012 draft by the Baltimore Orioles, and they were expecting big things from him. And he was definitely a decent pitcher for the Orioles, not really a bust by any means, but not what they were expecting with him when they selected him 4th overall. And ever since leaving Baltimore, Gausman has really bounced around a couple teams, and similar to his time with the Orioles, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad either. But this season with the San Francisco Giants, Gausman has gone to another level. This year, in 137 innings pitched, he's 11-5 with a 2.29 earned run average, has 162 punch-outs and a .97 whip. And you really can't deny with these numbers that this guy is in the heart of the National League Cy Young conversation. I mean, this is the potential that the Orioles saw in this guy, and unfortunately they never got it in him, but the Giants are really just reaping the benefits right now. And just a little over a month ago, this guy had an ERA hovering around 1.5, so that just goes to show just how good this guy was for such a long stretch this season. So all in all, Gausman having a career year, I got him at number 3. And coming in at number 2, I have Zack Wheeler. Now this guy has been lights out all season long, but he has turned it up a notch lately. Just last week, he had a complete game shutout with 11 punch-outs against the division rival New York Mets. And at the time, that was a massive win for the Phillies as they were hunting down the Mets for the number 1 spot in the National League East. And as of today, the Phillies are tied with the Braves for first place in the National League East, and it wouldn't be that way without Zack Wheeler. Now this season, Wheeler in 162 innings pitched is 10-7, has 187 punch-outs, which leads the league, has a 2.56 earned run average and a .99 whip. And to go along with that, he has a 6.0 WAR. And similar to Gausman, Wheeler was a big prospect. Wheeler was originally coming up through the New York Mets system, and he was a pretty decent pitcher there, but he's really just broken out this year in Philadelphia. Like I said before, this guy is leading the league with 187 punch-outs right now, and it looks like he is easily going to get over 200. And if the Phillies do end up winning the NL East and Wheeler continues to pitch dominant down the stretch, he is going to be up there in these Cy Young conversations. So right now, he comes in at number 2. And coming in at number 1, I have Walker Buehler. Buehler has always been an extremely talented pitcher, and the Dodgers saw this back in the Vanderbilt days. And coming up through the Dodgers system, Buehler was always one of their top prospects. And he's had a couple dominant seasons so far in the big leagues, but this year is clearly his best. So far, in 147 innings pitched, Buehler is 12-2 with a 2.13 earned run average, has 152 punchouts, and a .93 whip. And he also has a 5.1 WAR. And I know nowadays the win-loss record for the pitcher is pretty much irrelevant, but I think when you're looking at two pitchers, a lot of the NL Cy Young voters are going to be looking at their records, and Walker Buehler's just looks pretty at this point. That 12-2 record is something that, while it doesn't necessarily say how good he is, it just makes him look a little bit better than the rest, and I just have a feeling the Cy Young voters are going to take that a little bit into consideration. Say, for example, Buehler finishes like 16-2 and has a 2.1 ERA. I think it's very hard for him to not win this award. And if the Dodgers end up winning the National League West and overtake the Giants, I think it's Walker Buehler's award to lose if he keeps pitching the way he has this year. And I'm happy to see Buehler pitch so well because I know he's always had this talent in him. He's just always been a very, very talented pitcher, and you just love to see him having such a huge season. So all in all, career season for Buehler. If he keeps this up, he, in my opinion, is going to win the National League Cy Young. So now that we have my top 5 Cy Young candidates, let's hop into some honorable mentions. I have to mention guys like Freddie Peralta, who is in the Brewers rotation, which in my opinion is the best in baseball. He has been a huge key piece to that rotation this season. We also have Max Scherzer, Julio Urias, both in the Los Angeles Dodgers starting rotation, along with Walker Buehler, both having very good seasons. And you can't forget the former clear-cut NL Cy Young, Jacob deGrom. He has an ERA to touch over 1. By far the best pitcher in baseball today. Unfortunately, he's been injured and hasn't played in a month now, so I really think it's hard to put him on this list, but you can't mention a Cy Young award without putting deGrom in the conversation at this point. But anyways, there you have my top 5 and a couple honorable mentions to go along with it. So let me know what you guys think down below this list, whether you agree or disagree. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'm going to be posting a lot more baseball videos here, so if you're a baseball fan, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I want to thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.